Petrie's Garden here. Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about my wonderful pomegranate tree. This is what it looks like. It's probably about 10 to 15 feet tall. This tree was purchased from one of the big box stores. I want to say it was Home Depot. Roughly maybe 6. I'm really not sure how long it's been planted here. I wasn't really keeping track back then. I'm gonna estimate between 6 to 8 years it's been planted in the ground. Last year it produced about 80 fruits, a rough estimate of 80 fruits for me. The fruit ripens around October of each year in my grow zone 10B. It drops its leaves for the winter, and I pruned it back as much as possible because it was outrageous. This whole tree was taking up you see all this empty space here? It was taking all that up and all this empty space. You couldn't even see the pool filter over there. It was totally covering up, so I wanted to taper out the sides a little bit. But I did fertilize this tree in February of this year, and I also start seeing flowers February 25th of this year of 22. So that's the first sign of first flowers. And I just kind of wanted to talk about the flowers a little bit. The first signs of flowers that I noticed was male flowers. A lot of male flowers started on the tree. How do you know the difference between a female flower and a male flower? The male flower, here's a good example, is like this one. Kind of like just a bell shape, smooth, nothing round in the back, just like a bell, and it has, you know, regular flower. The bees are going to come, they're going to visit flower to flower, and they're going to take the pollen from the male flower, and they're going to go on to the female flower, and they're going to pollinate it. And these are the female flowers, the one with the big bulge in the back. Once you know it's pollinated, then the bulge on the back will swell up to double its size, and it'll look like this. These have been pollinated, and there's quite a few on this one's been pollinated right here. This is a male flower. This one here that's falling apart, and this one to my right and left, these are male flowers, and this is the female flower right in the middle. So how convenient is that if the bee is moving from flower to flower? All of what he needs is all in the same area. So you will also notice a lot of flowers falling, and you'll be sad, like, oh my gosh, all my flowers, they're falling. But when you look down, you'll notice that most of the flowers that are falling are male flowers. You'll see some female flowers in there too, because they probably just never got pollinated, but most of them are male flowers. See, here's a female flower. Looks a little bigger in the back. Both of these are male flowers, and both of these fell. But you'll see a lot of flowers on the ground, and you'll be sad, like, oh man, they're not, they were not pollinated. But that's just to let you know that the males are gonna fall. They don't, after the male has done their job, then they're gonna fall. I also noticed this one on the ground. This is a female flower, and it looked like it was pollinated. It started to bulge in the back. However, if you can see, it's a little bit lopsided. It's not an even roundness. So it looks like this one didn't fully get pollinated, and that's probably why it fell. So you can see it there, it's like whopped. So that's probably why it fell. I'm gonna leave the flowers there. I'm gonna let them decompose and feed the plant back. Another thing I wanted to mention was you're gonna get a lot of this. I did a video, I think a few months ago, and showed how much I pruned back this whole area. There were so many little, I don't know, branches coming up. And after I did that, I have a whole bunch more of these new growth coming up from the bottom. This is what a pomegranate tree wants to do. It wants to produce all these suckers right here and just be a bush. It wants to be a bush. It does not want to be a tree. And I'm trying to fight it, even though it's not a tree now, it's just a whole bunch of sticks. But I don't want all this new growth on here. because even if I allowed this growth to continue, this wood down here is not sturdy enough to hold a new pomegranate. All the ones at the top, all those branches are firm enough, because let me tell you, once these pomegranates start growing and filling out, sometimes there's clusters of them. There'll be a cluster of like 4 or 5 sometimes on one branch, and that branch will bend over and it'll be damn near touching the floor. So all these little ones down here, these are not going to support anything. So I'm going to remove these, and because I don't want the energy to be put into this. I want it to be put into up top and making flowers, more female flowers, and more hey Peony, more female flowers and fruit. That's what I want. So all these suckers down here, they have to go because they're taking up a lot of energy. So anyway, so this is a wonderful pomegranate tree, and if you don't have one, you need to get one. They're heavy producers. If you put it in the ground, put it in a place where it has space, and because it not only is it going to go up, but it's going to fan out because of the weight of the fruits, and it needs space for that. I normally kind of tip the tops off, and but you're going to get a lot of new growth, which is fine, but just be mindful of the area that you put it in. Oh, and let me tell you another thing. I seen one bee pollinating pretty much the whole tree. It doesn't take many bees to pollinate a tree. I seen one bee, and I sat out here for like 30 minutes, and he was hitting each flower he was going into. So it doesn't take a lot of bees to pollinate, and they're persistent too. I stay out of their way. So anyway, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, shoot me a comment on any special tips and tricks that you do for your pomegranate. And yeah, like and subscribe and hit the notification button. Until next time, ciao.